Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Duels with our Mono Blue Gearseeker Serpent deck. This is the final match with it, so next week, as I've mentioned previously, I won't be doing a video for any Magic decks, but the week after I'll be doing 2 new decks. If you want to know what those decks are, then you have the power to vote on them. So if you go to the first match, vote on the decks that you'd like to see. The 2 most popular ones I will play in the week that Aether Revolt comes out on the 19th. Very exciting times. Alright guys, I'll see you in a bit. Alright, we're in, and on the play we have a flooded level of lands, Smuggler's Copter and a Thopter Spy Network. If we had maybe 2 other cards, this would be awesome, but oh god, it's pretty much the same thing. Well, we're going to go with it. I don't want to go down to 6 cards. I don't like having disadvantage in my cards. Our opponent is rank 31 called Ronnie Zheng. Playing red, probably red something, because he didn't have a turn 1 play, which is not typical of red deck wins. Maybe wrong though, he might have just been unlucky with his draws. Going with red-white. No, another red. Into Speedway Fanatic. Is this vehicles then? Then again, this is just a nice value aggressive creature, to be honest. So that may not be an indicator of any particular card. Alright, we're just going to play an island, Cultivator's Caravan, pass the turn. Next turn we get to Thopter Spy Network, and we've got an artifact in play to get Thopters, and then the Ruins, we can put counters on our Thopters as well, which hopefully should help us stabilise the board. In fact, there's not much stabilising to be done at this point in time, but still. We got Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. She only has to deal damage. I remember the last time I made the mistake of thinking it was to players. Just 3 damage in general. Okay. Well, we're gonna Thopter Spy Network. Play another island. Our hand is absolute turbo gash right now, so hopefully we draw into something nice. A Whirler Rogue would be awesome, that kind of thing. Or even a Chief of the Foundry, perhaps. Although I imagine he's running Burn in his hand, so it won't survive very long. And Chandra looks to be flipping this turn. Yeah. Build to Smash on Chandra means that she gets her 3 damage in and then taps to flip. We're at 9. This is going to be a quick game, boys and girls. Yep. Plus to deal 2 damage, is it? I think it's 2 damage. Yeah, 2 damage. And an Ember Hauler for an extra 2. Yeah, we're so dead. 2 damage there, 2 damage there. He just needs to get 2 damage in through combat damage or find it in his hand, and I think we all know that he's got it, so yep, that's gonna be game. Let's stick some counters on the Thopter, play our Foundry Inspector, and play an island, and that's essentially all we can do. I think our opponent's got us dead whether we like it or not, to be honest. Especially if a Hasty Creature comes out right now. Hasty Creature or removal for one of ours. Choosing to burn away our Foundry Inspector with Chandra. Okay. And hijack to steal our Thopter token. There you go, there's the game. Oh dear. Well, we got flooded. We had nothing to do and he was just too fast. Alright, well, on to another game, I guess. Sweet, we're in. And we've got an incredibly expensive hand later down the line and not many lands. Not enough lands to support it anyway. We got turn 1, turn 2, and turn 4 plays with Whirler Rogue, so I think we can keep this one. Let's go with Bonded Construct to start off. It was a bit of a crappy game last round. I think that this deck just doesn't deal very well with aggro strategies. It's just a little bit too slow, especially when we're trying to win anyway, because there's no board wipes to clear the board to stabilise. And there's not a great deal of decent creatures. You got these bonded constructs, but they're just so easy to remove that it becomes quite difficult in the end. We're going to go Island and Eager Construct here so that we can attack him with a bonded construct next turn if he doesn't play down a creature that we care about. We actually need that land, so we're going to stick that on top. That land allows us to play our Whirler Rogue, so I'm glad to have it. And skip attack, because the construct cannot attack alone. Loyal to a fault. It heeds its master's every command, just not mine. Black, white. This could be allies drain, perhaps. Let's go Alchemist Vial just in case we hit a Ruins of Oran Reef, because we'd prefer to play that land over anything else, and we get a Chief instead. Okay. We'll hold on to the Westvale Abbey until it potentially has a use. And we'll get him for 4 here. See if he's got a Blessed Alliance to take down a creature. I doubt it. Yeah, doesn't look like it. Okay. Blessed Alliance wouldn't be too bad against us, actually. Because we'd probably sack this and only deal 2 life. And if we chose the other one, then we couldn't attack with the Bonded Construct for quite some time. Goes with a Tireless Tracker. A 3/2. Makes clues. Fair enough. Well, first things first, we're going to get in with all of our creatures. And hopefully he blocks. He's not going to, but you can always hope. And then we can play a land into Whirler Rogue here. There we go. And that holds back blockers enough for the Tireless Tracker to not get in as well. Though we probably won't block, because we're going to Chief of the Foundry next turn and get in for an extra 4 points. Some of it over the top as well. So I think we're in a significantly better place as long as he doesn't... as long as he doesn't play things like Gisela. We can Alchemist Vial to stop her blocking, though. And Cultivator's Caravan. Okay. We're a land off doing Ormondal, which would be lovely, but can't be doing that. We can still get in for 2 here and there. And Whirler Rogue can come down and we can still use Alchemist Vial. If we use Alchemist Vial this turn to get in a mass amount of damage, potentially force a chump with the Tireless Tracker, then we're still in a position to Ormondal the next turn and do a fair amount, because he's gonna, if he is gonna block, he's gonna block there and we'll deal 2, 4, 6 damage. He'll go down to 6, up to 10 with Gisela, and then down to 1 with Ormondal on the next turn. This is essentially how it's gonna go. Chief of the Foundry, he's gonna make it do a lot more than that as well, so yeah, let's go Chief of the Foundry. We will crack the Alchemist Vial to stop Gisela from blocking. We'll swing in with everything. This is kind of enough to force him to block. Yeah. So that's him down to 2. We then play... Do we play Westvale Abbey? We do play Westvale Abbey because we still need to hit a land in order to use Ormondal. But in this current board state, I think we just still win. He blocks the biggest creature and takes 6, yeah. Oath of Nissa. He might be looking for a Planeswalker to bring him out of this. Don't think there is one. Nahiri can take care of one creature. And then he can block. I guess Woodland Bellower, though. We've got the Whirler Rogue to stop him from blocking with a creature as well. Yeah, he's had enough. Alright. So, we've gone from being taken down by aggro to being the aggressor. Dealing a fair amount of damage along the way. Sacks his clue, draws a card, has no outs. Okay. And we find a serpent. How much does a serpent cost now? Just 2. Wonderful. Alright, there's nothing I can think of that can save him here. He could Blessed Alliance, gain life, go up to 10, and then he takes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, so he's dead. Can't think of anything he could do here. There's no fogs in those colours. So it's just going to be game. Sweet. Alright, the first game was quite short, so I think we can go for a third one. See you there. Okay, we are on the play. We have turn 1 construct into turn 2 Glintness Crane. If we get a land, we go Chief. If we get a land, we go Whirler Rogue. Seems good enough to me. Let's do it. So, let's go Bonded Construct and pass our turn over to what? Rank 29. Okay. Pass the turn. And see what he does. Evolving Wilds. Cracks it now for... What is making choices? I would love to know. White. Okay. So we know he's a multicolored deck, or at least he usually is with Evolving Wilds. It's a safe assumption most of the time. Oh, Ruins. So the question is, do we want to Ruins now so that we can Chief next turn? Or do we want to Island now so we can Glintness Crane and then Chief the turn after the next? I think we want to Glintness Crane because we can potentially hit another artifact creature that we can play in the off time where Ruins is tapped. And we get an Eager Construct. We add another Ruins there as well. Glad to see all those lands go to the bottom. And we'll pass the turn. Green, white. This could be elves. Could be humans that's just splashing a few good creatures here and there. Could be super friends. Ugh. Right, okay. Well, we can go Ruins of Oran Reef here. And we can get over the top with Glintness Crane and deal 1 damage. Sure. But we could also Bonesaw, equip the Bonded Construct, and get in for 4. He wouldn't block, and then he'd get in for 2. But then we can play Eager Construct. Alternatively, we could get in for 1, Eager Construct, and then we've got blockers back for his Advocate. That seems fair. I think we'll go with that. We do both get to scry though, so I'm going to hunt down a land. That is not a land, although 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not far off, actually. Yeah, we'll take that. We won't be able to use it right away, but it's not far off being able to be used with our Bonesaws and the Chief that we'll play next turn instead. So we're getting for 1 with our Glintness Crane. And pass the turn over. No sense in playing our Bonesaws just yet. Oh dear. Is this Super Friends? Yawn. Bygone Bishop. Maybe not. I honestly have no idea anymore. Just Naya good stuff. Whatever. Alright, so Chief of the Foundry. It's going to make our constructs big enough to swing through, so we could potentially take a creature off the board. If we do that, though, then the Serpent becomes more expensive. Then again, these are some good value creatures that I'd rather be off the board right now. But, hypothetically, if we kept all of our creatures, we have a 7 cost, 6 cost, 5 cost, 4 cost, 3 cost, 2 cost, so we can cast Serpent next turn if we don't lose a construct. Is he really going to block constructs, though? No, probably not. In fact, if I attack him with the Glint Nest, then he'll probably just chump with the Bygone Bishop and nothing will happen. So I want to encourage that behaviour. Yeah, there we go. So we get to keep our artifacts around. Ah, he does trade there. Alright. We're not going to be able to cast Serpent next turn, unfortunately. We'll be 1 artifact short. But that's the Sylvan Advocate off the board, so that's not a bad thing. Necessarily. Lone Rider. Gets a clue token. It's a 1-1 with First Strike and Lifelink. And now it's a 3-3 with First Strike and Lifelink. If you gain 3 or more life, is it? Yep, it turns into It That Rides as 1. It's a very good creature once it's flipped, unfortunately. And that might just cost us the game. It's just like nigh good stuff. Fair enough. Now it's a 6-6 First Strike, Trampling, Lifelink with Haste. Yay. We can Eager Construct though, so we can get Gearseeker down pretty soon. I'm going to stick a counter on that. We've got nothing else to do with our mana really. And a Bonded Construct. I'm going to stick that to the bottom. I don't think it's good enough at this point. And since we're not going to be blocking that monstrous being, I guess we're just going to attack in and try to get as much life off of him as possible. He can't kill any of our creatures. So let's just attack him with everything. Yeah, just blocks to absorb some of the damage. He loses 4, but he's gaining 6, so he's netting 2 more life on us. And we're, of course, not gaining any life off of this Trampler that's coming through. Ew. Yep. Let that happen. Even our Serpent's not going to be big enough to block it. Just 1 power short, and unfortunately it's not colourless, so the Ruins cannot put a counter on it. And he's got another Lone Rider, which is also going to flip because he's gained life this turn. Yeah. So that's a 4-4. First Strike, Trampling, Lifelinker. I think this game's over, honestly. Let's play our Bone Saws. Boosh and Boosh. Can't even play a Whirler Rogue because we don't have the mana. And yeah, that's essentially it. We could hold back a load of stuff to deter him from wanting to attack him with some of his creatures, but is he really going to? In fact, he can just profitably trade with all of our stuff anyway. Let's get a Bonesaw equipped. There's no reason to attack in. Bonesaw equipped on our Serpent. For reasons. These guys are first striking anyway, so they instantly kill pretty much anything they block, so not really benefiting from putting a Bonesaw on any of our creatures at this point in time. Although this Gearseeker Serpent is capable of stopping that one. Gnarlwood Dryad gets another clue. This is like nigh good stuff. It's an interesting deck, actually. I kind of like the look of it. It's destroying me, so that's a good sign. Not very much into the just straight up good stuff kind of decks. They just seem very boring and uninspired. I think is the correct term there. They don't do a specific thing that draws me to it, which is why I like tribal decks and things like that, because they have a specific draw, a specific purpose to everything they do, whereas this one kind of just plays things that are good for the sake of them being good. It works, don't get me wrong. It's destroying me right now, but yeah. Westvale Abbey. Can we not die here? Well, not really, I don't think so. We can play this Whirler Rogue, I guess. There's a lot of blockers. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. Alright, just as many blockers on the ground as possible. Let's just try and be stubborn and not die. Let's pass the turn, I guess. It's over, let's be honest. But at least I've got enough stuff here to slow him down. And you never know, if he doesn't feel the need to attack anymore and we get an Inventor's Fair, we could be up to 20 in 15 turns in our life gain. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, sack a clue. He won't be doing anything, a great deal of anything at this point in time. Alright, draws more clues. I think he's got us anyway. Just gets in with that one, okay. Alright. We can block all that. Potentially get it off the board as well. Okay, so we block there. First strike kills our serpent, then it does no more damage, so we put an extra 6 power behind that to kill it. We then do the exact same thing with this one, put 4 power in front of it, and an extra 4 power, 4 toughness to kill it, and power. And that's essentially it. I don't know if we... Actually, I'll replace a Thopter there, I guess. Just so that we can block the Bygone Bishop. In worst case scenario, he's got auto blocks on, so... He gains a ton of life. But we take down his It Rides as ones. We draw a land. We're 1 mana off Ormondal. Oh man. Oh man, don't let that be the tilt point. He really shouldn't have tilted. Alright, can I get a counter on this Smuggler's Copter? I need to crew it up in order to do it. If I crewed up with the Chief, we'd still have 4 blockers to his 3 attackers. Yeah, I think I can do that. So, crew up there. I need extra flyers just in case he's got auras to put on his Bygone Bishop or stuff like that. Extra flyers are always nice. So that's a 5/5 Smuggler's Copter now. And then... no attacks, I don't think. No. He's got Death Touch on the ground. And I guess we'll go... Eager Construct. And one on the Glint Nest Crane. Seems about right. Pass the turn. He's at 37, so even if we do start to stabilize, he's got so much time. So much time in which to come back from this. Although if we do get our Armandal, it's going to be pretty bad for him. Retreat to Kazandu. So you can put counters on his creatures for land drops, or he can gain life. Yeah, it looks like counters are his options here. And a smuggler copter of his own. So I reckon he's just going to be making a big Erois' champion here. He's probably got an aura to give it trample, that kind of deal. And not getting in for an attack. Land. 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 Oh my god. It's an Inventor's Fair. Alright. So we could Armandal right now. That's a thing that could happen. If we did that, would we die? We'd gain 9 up to 14. Then we take 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11 actually. Because he'd probably crew up there. We wouldn't die on the swing back. But we wouldn't be in a great position either, I don't think. We're going to probably attack in first anyway, and if we do use Armandal, it'll be in a defensive maneuver. So, I think what I'm going to do is move this Bone Saw over to the Glint Nest Crane. Oh, but then we can't Armandal. We could always just hang around for a little while and Smuggler's Copter for a bit. We don't need to loot or anything like that, so let's tap down the Chief. Get in for 5. No need to loot, because there's no looting to be done. We'd just be dropping cards in the graveyard for the sake of it. And since we have no graveyard interactions, it doesn't help at all. So it looks like he's going to crew up his own Smuggler's Copter. So he's going to be able to kill ours, but we get to kill his. Which I'm fine with. Probably should have put a Bone Saw on and then we could have traded actually, but then, yet again, we can't Armandal. Which I kind of fancy doing on my on his end step. Depending on what he does, of course. Because we're in a very tricky situation. And any sudden moves could be disastrous. Okay. Retreat. Probably putting a counter on his champion again. Oh, on the bishop this time. Cracks it. Going for counters again. Yeah, on the bishop. And Declaration in stone on our Glint Nest Crane. Okay. Armandal. Pew pew pew. Now we have a 9/7 indestructible flying lifelinking creature with haste. But he's got 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on an attack there. So I think we're just going to equip up. If he's got Declaration in Stone, the other one, for our Ormondol or any kind of removal for it, then we're just dead anyway, but I think that was just going to be the case regardless. We could have allowed the Declaration hit there and just sacked the clue perhaps, but this way he's giving us opportunities to get our Gearseekers online and things like that. Through his slow building up of his creatures. Okay. Angelic Destiny. It's now a flying 8/8 double striking first striking creature. Ooh, we could make it unblockable, but I wouldn't want to do that anyway. There's no glory in that. We still get hit for far more than we're gaining. So let's just play our Whirler Rogue, put a counter on one of our Thopters, pass the turn. We're back up to enough artifacts for Inventor's Fair to start gaining us life as well. So we're gaining life every single time he doesn't attack. There's a Rogue's Passage. Okay, that's game. Yeah. Gets in for 18. Even if we'd have swung in with Ormondol, this would still be happening. So we'd be on 16 and we'd be dead anyway. Well. Well, that's going to do it with this deck for this week. I'm not sure about this deck. It's a bit hit and miss, to be honest. If you get your Gearseekers down early enough, then it's awesome. But other than that, it's kind of just drawing bone saws. I'm not sure. But it's been fun playing it, regardless. I suggest you guys have a go with it. But it's not the most competitive deck, I wouldn't say. Anyway, guys, be sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. It helps me out a great deal. Lets me know you're enjoying the series. As always, be sure to vote on the decks that you'd like to see in the first matches video for this deck. And then I'll be playing them the week that Aether Revolt comes out on the 19th. It's not very far away. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more Magic Duels and the Aether Revolt release. And if you have already subscribed and haven't already, then be sure to hit the little bell icon right next to the subscription button to be notified when I release new videos. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.